Wire recording is actually kind of neat. It looks like a spool of wire, almost like a spool of thread, although the wire would be closer to maybe a wire that an electrician would use. If you've ever done any soldering, it looks a little bit like that. And a wire recording was a process that was used somewhat in the United States in perhaps the 1940s and 1950s. It was a consumer format. What I mean by consumer is that professionals, for the most part, did not use it. Wire recording was small, it was almost portable, and it recorded to this spool that ran at a very fast speed. It was kind of fun to look at, as you'll see here, but it wasn't really a great technology. It sort of is the technology between disc and between what we call audio tape. There's overlap for both, but that's primarily the period it was used in. And what you do is you record on this wire that would move at tremendous speeds, and you could even edit it, which you couldn't do on discs. The editing wasn't terribly smooth, because basically what you did was you would cut the wire and then make a square knot as small as you could in order to butt two pieces together. Wire recordings are a version of recording that wasn't in existence that long. There aren't that many, and quite honestly, there isn't that much important that's on them, meaning that that's the only way they exist. There are some, but there aren't that many. What the Rodgers and Hammerstein archive does is use a vintage device that's in good condition. When you're dealing with a wire recording, somebody might look at it and say, wow, this looks so complicated, or this looks so hard to use, or this looks so dangerous, or whatever. How could anybody have taken that in their home? Today, we think you can record anything you want, anytime you want. Before the VCR, the only thing you could really use were open reels, or reel-to-reels as they're sometimes called, which were big and clunky. Or when Philips came out with the cassette, it was a great format because it was small, it was portable, it was inexpensive. Think of the wire recording as a sort of an early version of that. A wire recording could hold a significant amount of time, and a wire recording could also be something you could put on your shelf. And the devices weren't overly expensive. Obviously, that's a relative point. The downside is, as I say, they were sort of dangerous, or potentially dangerous. You had to really watch it, and so you didn't get snapped with a broken wire. And they didn't sound that good. They sounded okay, and the wire could stretch a little or bend a little and then wouldn't stay in the device the way it was supposed to. And if it snapped, not only would perhaps your eyes be in danger, but you'd also have to put it back together. Well, although it looks something like a solder reel, you didn't solder it back together. You tied a knot. The knot was a rather inelegant way of doing things, and every time a knot went past the device, it made a loud thump.
The Columbia Network takes great pleasure in bringing you another regular Sunday concert by the Philharmonic Symphony Society of New York. Today the orchestra is again under the direction of its distinguished conductor and musical director, Mr. Arturo Toscanini, who is presenting the fourth program in this season's Brahms cycle.